Hello again. Aaron Quigley, again, one of your CHI 2021 General Co-Chairs. So today I just wanted to talk about courses and some of the interesting policies that relate to courses within SIG CHI and also within the CHI Steering Committee. So the courses program within CHI has evolved over a very long period of time. And a number of years ago, many years ago, these were full day programs of activity. But over time, because of the time pressures on the program that you have within CHI, rather than being events that would happen before CHI, they started becoming folded into the main program for CHI. So now, over the last 5 or 6 years, if you look at any individual CHI conference, you'll see the courses program is interwoven carefully throughout the entire period of time that you would actually have CHI. Now, when I look at the call for participation for CHI 2021, there are 14 different sections in there. Alt CHI, papers, panels, lots of different things. And in the very bottom right-hand section is one section on learning. And that's where the courses live. And if you go and have a look at that description of what courses are for, it's an open call to the entire community, practitioners, academics, students, lots of people to think about what should we be teaching each other, what should we be learning from each other, and what do we need to kind of think about for the next generation of HCI practitioners, researchers, and scholars. What areas should they be actually focusing in on? Now, typically, there's a set of foundational courses that are the course chairs try to curate and bring together. But also, because it's an open call to the community, lots of people can respond. Now, when you go over to the CHI Steering Committee committee page, you'll actually see under policies and procedures that there's lots of policies in there around the what's core to CHI, which talks about courses, talks about working groups and video and making new subcommittees, of which we have two new subcommittees this year, CHI 2021, and there's a policy that explains how they come about. Also things like strategic venues and COMPT registration, because some people get a free registration or a COMPT registration, but there's specific rules around how that should actually occur, and there's not actually so many of those. But in there's a policy around compensation for CHI courses. So again, that's kind of a surprising policy for many people who've never seen the courses from the curation side of the work. So within that policy, it talks about how people get compensated, what the compensation looks like, why there is compensation. Some of it's historic. It used to be more generous in the past. It's less generous today. But it's important that we remember that lots and lots of people who are volunteers at our conferences get no compensation whatsoever. So why do course instructors get that? And that's what the policy basically tries to outline, tries to explain, and tries to detail, so that both people who put forward courses understand that there's a lot of work in preparing these, and also it's something that the CHI conference actually charges for. But on the flip side, it's not a money-making activity by any stretch of the imagination. So the policy is there to help guide general chairs like me to make a fair decision around how much compensation should be given, what it should be given for, and also what is actually expected of the authors when they're putting forward the idea they have for a course. Because courses are there to instruct and educate the next generation. So if you're interested in proposing a course, please have a look at the call for courses, understand what's being looked for, have a look at the course compensation policy. This was written by many different volunteers, carefully reviewed by the CHI Steering Committee, Regina Bernhaupt, the previous CHI chair, but also when Regina was VP for membership and communications, was heavily involved with this. So this courses policy has been touched on by many individuals over many years. So please understand, when you read it, it's not just been whipped up in the last year. It's evolved over a long period of time to try to be as fair as possible, and also to reflect the fact that courses have evolved from a very interesting history to where we are today. So that's just one aspect of what you have to kind of deal with as your general chair, thinking about what the future of courses should look like, where courses should be coming from. And if there's compensation, we need a policy around that to make sure that it's documented and it's fair. So see you next time. Thank you.